Today's topic is service must continue to be passed on. Do you like coffee? I think, everyone like coffee. Tim, do you like coffee? No, you don't like. But you like energy drink. Oh, you don't like energy drink? Don't lie to me. Mostly people like coffee. Seattle is famous for the Starbucks coffee. Right? So I think the men who live in Seattle, they know Starbucks. That's because Starbucks, which has now grown into a global company, first started in Seattle. The person who expanded Starbucks from just 11 stores to over 28,000 locations in 77 countries is Howard Schultz. People often describe his leadership as servant leadership. He called his employees partner. And even provided benefit to part-time workers, showing that he truly cared for and served his employees. Based on this spirit of service, he established Starbucks as a third place, a space where people can connect beyond home and work. So before Starbucks make the drive-through system, many people worry about Starbucks spirit, because Starbucks spirit is the shared culture and atmosphere. But if they make the drive-through, how can they share? How can they feel the Starbucks spirit? But after getting drive-through system, Starbucks has become rich more and more. So like this, Starbucks, they emphasize the spirit of the third place, space where people can connect and beyond home and work. Because of this, many people refer to him as a CEO who serves people. However, there is someone who first showed true servant leadership. That person is Jesus. Before the Passover, Jesus knew that the time had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. So while he was having dinner with his disciples, he began to wash their feet. He took off his outer garment, wrapped a towel around his waist, poured water into a basin, and washed his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel. At that time, washing someone's feet was usually done by Gentile servant or by a wife or children. Usually, the Gentile servant, they wash the master's feet. So, from the disciples' perspective, it must have been very surprising and uncomfortable that their teacher, Jesus, was washing their feet. So they thought, oh Jesus, this is the servant job. Why you want to do this for us? Among them Peter, who was one of Jesus' closest disciples, must have been especially shocked by what Jesus was doing. So Peter said that he could not let Jesus wash his dirty feet. But Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand," and urged him to let him wash his feet. However, Peter strongly refused, saying that Jesus would never wash my feet. Then Jesus said, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." Here, no part means having no share or inheritance with him. In other words, It is like saying one cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. When Peter heard this, he asked Jesus to wash not only my feet, but also his hand and his head, whole body. And his response likely surprised the other disciples once again, because other disciples, they thought, oh, Peter, he so 욕심쟁이. He want to get much from Jesus. Jesus loved his own who were in the world, and he loved them to the very end. He expressed that love by washing his disciples' feet. The reason Jesus washed their feet among all parts of the body is because at that time the feet were considered the dirtiest part. What do you think? Why the dirtiest part of the body is feet? Why? Tim, what do you think? What part is the most dirty body in your body? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, so we mean feet. Yeah. David, you think mouth? Feet? Yeah. Right. So mostly people think the feet is the most dirty part. Yeah. In the Middle East, where it was dusty and people commonly wore sandal. So sandal means we wear the shoes, the whole cover, but sandal is not whole cover. So these feet would easily become dirty. And yet Jesus chose to wash those dirty feet of his disciples. He can wash disciples' hand. He can wash disciples' hair. But Jesus washed his disciples' feet. There is meaningful. Jesus chose to wash those dirty feet of his disciples. This was a shocking act. In that culture, washing feet was usually done by Gentile or servant. For Jesus to do this could have seemed to lower his authority as their teacher. It might even have felt embarrassing, as if he were taking the position of servant. So let's think about this. The American president is, Aaron, do you know who is the American president? Biden? Yeah, Trump. If he came to here and he for knee and he trying to wash Amit's feet. So we think, Trump president is not the high position people. We can disappointed, right? Trump 이거밖에 안 돼? But so Jesus has also get much risk. He can lose his authority because the washing feet is the servant duty, as if he were taking the position of a servant. But because Jesus loved his disciples so deeply, he willingly humbled himself and washed their feet. At the same time, Jesus connected foot washing with bathing to give it the meaning of repentance. The Peter asked Jesus to wash his entire body. Jesus replied that those who have a bath only need to have their feet washed. This indicates that Peter had already been made righteous through faith in Jesus. However, the daily sins we commit still need to be cleaned by Jesus. So that's why we must bring our dusty and dirty feet to Jesus every day. When Jesus washes our feet, it is like He is meeting our needs. Our ultimate need was forgiveness of sin. We cannot wash our sin by my strength. So, Jesus lovingly provided that. So, not only that, just as He washed the dusty and dirty feet of His disciples to take care of their daily needs, Jesus also addressed and solved the problem in our life today. So, this means Jesus meets our needs, not only spiritual needs, but also physical needs. So, Jesus did not stop there. In verse 14 and 15, He tells His disciples, this is very most important verse. Jesus says, I have washed your feet. You should wash one another's feet. This means Jesus said, I wash your feet, and you should wash one another's feet. Before Jesus was crucified, the disciples often competed with each other. They are interested in who is the more higher. So they fight each other. I'm higher than you. I'm higher than you. So, but after the outpouring of the Holy Spirit on Pentecost, they became leaders in the church and lived life of service, and both to the church and to the world. And Jesus washed their feet in preparation for this time, telling them in verse 7, you do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand. After Pentecost, as the disciples lived to testify about Jesus, they would have remembered the time when Jesus washed their feet. Whenever they faced difficulties in the church, persecution, misunderstanding, or moment when they felt exhausted from serving others, they would recall those moments of Jesus washing their feet. Remembering His example would have helped them strengthen their heart and lives again to continue His work. Serving others means meeting their needs. Jesus' service met our ultimate need, washing away our sin. And the same Jesus who washed our feet tells us to wash one another's feet. We may not be able to wash away other people's sin, but we can meet their needs. Who is the person whose feet you need to wash? Who is the person whose feet you need to wash? More immediately, who is the person you should serve right now? Your sibling, your parents, or your friend, or your co-worker, or your friend? Do you ever feel that serving others is too difficult and want to give up? At those times, we need to look at our own feet. When we remember Jesus, who suffered and washed our feet all the way to the cross, we empowered to follow His word and serve others. So we have to try serve others. But sometimes we exhausted. I don't want to more serve others. I want to give up. Right? So at that time, how do I do? We have to see my feet. You have to see your own feet. right, Jesus washed my feet so that I can wash other feet. Jesus washed away. Jesus served for washing my sin so I can serve others. Sometimes I have 3 children. So when I go to home, they require. Dad, could you do me a favor? Could you have this? Oh yeah, I can do. Then sometimes I'm exhausted. Let me alone. Let me alone. I want to 혼자 있고 싶어. So at that time, I remember my dad and my mom. Yeah, my parents also had served like this. Look my feet, and then I can serve my child again. So like this, sometimes we want to give up. I don't want to serve anymore. But at the time, we have to see my feet. Jesus did what he did. Jesus washed my feet so that we can wash others' feet. We can serve for others. This is not by our strength, by Jesus' help. So, what is the serving? What is the service? So sometimes if Aaron is starving, what is his need? Food, right? So at church, sometimes someone has starving, we can serve through giving food. If sometimes someone feel bad, like Josh, if Josh feel bad because of the schoolwork, how can we serve him? Encouragement. Josh, you can do it. No, you can do it, Josh. So this is the serve, right? And like this, the serving is very simple, but sometimes this very difficulty because we have to spend our time and our money and the energy. But so we want to stop serving others. We want to give out, but 그럴 때마다 we have to see my feet. Yes, what Jesus did, so we can serve others. The people who demonstrated this kind of servant leadership were the missionary who visited Korea in the 19th century to share the gospel. 19th century. They all had one thing in common. They preached the good news of Jesus. As a result, many people who had lived and died as slaves to sin came to accept the gospel and believe in Jesus. These missionaries also served the Korean people in various ways. Horace Grant Underwood and Henry Evangelos laid the foundation for the Yonsei University and giving educational opportunity to those who had no access to schooling. At that time, only noblemen have a chance to education. But women and lower position people, they don't have opportunity to get in school and get an education. But missionary, they provide the education for them. And the Oliver Edison established hospital to provide medical care, and Mary Scranton founded Ihwa, the school, college for women. And Samuel Moore worked for the human right of the lowest social class. At the time, there is no right, human right, there is no opportunity, education opportunity. And there is no the light and the medical care. But missionary, they provide these for them. Not only spiritual needs, but also physical needs. So, when we see the biography of the missionary, they wrote, they say, I want to give up. I want to give up. Because we cannot find, I think they will not be changed. This means they preach the gospel and they provide everything, but not change. So they want to give up. But they say, at the time, they see their feet. So they remember what Jesus did. Yes, they exhausted and they faced the difficulty and they say, I want to give up Jesus. I want to go back my country. But 그럴 때마다 they see their feet. So they realize, yes, Jesus washed my sin and Jesus provided everything. Jesus served me so I can serve others. So they try again and again. So like this, sometimes when you face the difficulties and exhausted, you have to see your feet, dirty part. And then you can remember what Jesus did for me. And then we can 힘을 내서 try again. We can try again, right? Not by my strength, only Jesus' grace. So even if we cannot go far away like those missionary and serve stranger, we can live out Jesus' example service by serving our family, church, and neighbors close to us. And when we follow Jesus' example and serve our family, neighbors, and church, people will come to meet Jesus through our act of service. The reason we are called to serve others is that Jesus told us to do so. This is Jesus' commandment. Jesus said, do this, do this. And this is what it means to live as his disciple. We are disciple, right? We are the men who are following Jesus. Jesus said, serve one another. So we have to do. But serving is never easy. Serving others doesn't always bring reward to ourselves. Teacher Berna, the serving your daughter is easy or difficult? Not easy. Yeah, I know. Not easy. But how long year you serve your daughter? 20 over? Yeah. How can you serve? How could you serve your daughters? Every time you see your feet, right? Jesus, you serve me so I can serve my daughters. Yeah, so sometimes our pride may be hurt, 자존심. And sometimes we may feel weak or humble. Oh, sacrifice my money, my time, my energy. Sacrifice. In those moments, look at your own feet. Jesus washed our dirty, smelly feet without any condition. So because of that, we too can follow his example and serve others. So I got a question. Who is the person you need to serve? Alex, who is the person you need to serve? To be honest. 누가 먼저 떠올랐지? Right. Or David, who is the man? Who is the person you need to serve? Edward? Oh, we have two Edward. 1, 2. Yeah. your faith. Yeah, so Jesus unconditional, He serves you so that we can serve others. So when you face a difficulty, see your own feet. 자, let's pray.